Hi, I'm Yuris from Arizona. Please like and subscribe. Me and my elder brother Ivan were raised by our single mom, who worked as a chef in a small restaurant. She worked really hard to give us everything, but it was never enough for my brother. How do you like this toy, Ivan?
Yuck, it's so bad. I want this car.
But that's really expensive, honey, and I don't have the money for it. I need to buy diapers and food for your sister. I hate her. Ivan just hated it. How he had to compromise on things because of me. So he secretly hid the car in Mom's bag, thinking that he could take it home. But I pointed it out right at the billing counter.
Car, bag, Ivan.
No, keep quiet. Unfortunately, the shop owner saw this, and since Mom didn't have the money to pay for it, he threw us out. And again, Ivan thought it was all because of me. So the next day when Mom went to work, he took me out and left me with one of the blind beggars on the streets.
Stay here and don't come back.
Thankfully, one of the neighbors saw this and she safely brought me home. But when Mom found out, she got really mad. Ivan, have you gone crazy? She's your sister and I told you to always look after her.
No, she's not my sister. She's the reason why you won't buy me any stuff. So I just want her gone.
Saying that, he stormed off and Mom turned to me and hugged me tight. Oh, sweetie, you must have been so scared. But don't worry, your brother's just a kid. He'll come around. Well, I hoped so too, but only he didn't. Growing up, Ivan was never around for me, and I grew up into a shy kid who hesitated while talking to others. Sometimes when they'd ask me something, I'd go completely mute and just run away. But as shy as I was really curious about things too. One time in second grade, I saw two old men playing a game in the park. It seemed so interesting that I stood there watching for hours until they called me.
Do you want to play the game, kid?
Of course I did. I loved solving puzzles and games, and chess became the ultimate love of my life. After that day, I'd play chess all the time, every day. But Ivan just hated it, because he was the complete opposite. He never liked studying and was often caught cheating on his tests. And the worst happened when Mom lost her job and Ivan failed 6th grade. Mom was really stressed, so she ended up scolding Ivan, and he seemed upset.
It's all right. I can help you with your studies.
But he didn't take it the right way and thought I was making fun of him.
You're gonna teach me, huh? You think I'm a kid and you're some genius because you play that stupid game? Go away.
He pushed me away and I landed on my butt. Mom rushed in and picked me up. Are you okay, sweetie? But for some reason, I couldn't speak. I tried really hard, but I just ended up in tears. Ivan, your sister was just trying to help you and you hurt her. You're grounded. After Ivan left angrily, Mom felt something was wrong with me because it wasn't the first time that I struggled to speak. So she took me to the doctor, and that's when we discovered that I had selective mutism, a condition in which a person goes mute for some time under shock or surprise. Mom looked really worried, but I didn't want to add to her stress.
It's gonna be all right, Mom. The doctor said the condition will go away with time, so don't worry, okay?
Of course, Ivan thought I was making it all up to get more attention, so he spread all sorts of rumors about me at school. But I couldn't care less. There was a regional chess tournament for kids, and they were giving away a huge cash prize to the winner, and I couldn't think of a better way to help Mom. So I spent weeks practicing for it while Ivan kept demotivating me. But it was no surprise that I won the finals, and Mom threw a huge party for me. I'm so proud of my daughter. She's like a blessing to me.
Oh yeah? And what am I? A curse to you?
Ivan.
It's my birthday soon, so why is she the one getting a party?
Ivan caused a huge scene and Mom had to ask everyone to leave. And now I was really pissed at him.
What's your problem? Why do you have to do this to Mom all the time?
But he just shut the door in my face. Ugh, this boy was something. He kept getting more jealous of my achievements as I kept winning more and more competitions. And by the time I was 13, I was competing in the state championship. My final match was against a guy named Greg, and everyone said he was a ruthless player. And indeed, he defeated me with his brutal moves. He was so good. I was really curious to know more of his tricks, so I gathered up the courage to talk to him.
Hey, excuse me, I just... Whoa!
Easy there, and I'm not signing anything for you.
What?
No, I'm not asking for your autograph. Then why have you been following me all the way into this elevator? I was... And there, my mutism was back again. It's okay, I get it. I'm so charming and handsome. Girls often go speechless when they see me.
What? This guy was so full of himself. As soon as the elevator door opened, I stomped on his feet and ran out, hoping I'd never run into him again. And thankfully, the next year, I won the state championship because Greg wasn't there. By the time I was 15, I had won enough money from different chess tournaments for us to move into a better neighborhood and for Mom to start a small cafe. Things were really looking up for us, but Ivan continued to be a brat. He failed so many times now that he was in the same grade as me in high school, but he always hung around with the bad senior kids. One time when I was walking down the hallway, I saw him picking on some kid along with his minions. Ivan, stop it! What are you doing? But what I saw next shocked me even more. Greg? What are you doing here?
Oh, so you know him. Is he your boyfriend? Then I guess I should trouble him more.
Ivan! Just then the principal came in and most of the kids ran away, except for Ivan and his gang. When the principal asked what was happening, all the guys blamed Greg for trying to prank the seniors.
No, I didn't do anything.
Greg looked at me hoping I'd tell the truth, but I couldn't. I tried really hard, but I'd just gone mute. So Greg was put into detention, and I felt so bad that I decided to go tell the truth to the principal later. But Ivan caught me on my way.
If you go and say anything to the principal now, I'm gonna make you and your little boyfriend miserable.
Gosh, you're such a jerk. I can't believe you're my brother. I wasn't afraid of Ivan, but thinking about what he'd do to Greg, I decided to let it go. Just this once. A few days later, after the detention period was over, I went over to see Greg. Hey, I'm really sorry about the other...
I don't want to hear it. Just leave me alone.
He just walked past me without listening to another word. He was in the same class as me, but he hardly talked to anyone. And when I asked him to join the chess club, he just refused. He seemed so different from the time I'd met him at the chess tournament, and I wondered why he'd changed. A few days later, it was Mom's birthday, and I decided to go to her cafe after school and surprise her. But I got the bigger surprise when I saw Greg was laying out the tables there. What the duck? I asked Mom, and she told me Greg was in dire need of money and begged her to let him work there after school. But he was a chess master and a genius. Why was he begging for money? I had to find out. After we cut the cake, I went over to him. Here, this is for you. He hesitantly took it, and then I explained to him the whole situation about my condition. At first, he looked at me weirdly, but then he just broke into a laugh.
So you weren't mesmerized by my looks in the elevator that day?
Absolutely not, but I was mesmerized by your brain for sure. Suddenly his gaze changed and he looked at me with bright eyes. We then talked for a while, but when I asked him about why he wasn't playing anymore, he said it was getting late and ran out of there. And I felt something was really off. So I decided to follow him and saw him secretly sneaking into a dark alley. And then he entered the haunted house in our neighborhood. That house had been empty for over 20 years and no one ever dared to go inside. Some people even believed that ghosts lived there. What was Greg doing here? I somehow gathered courage to go inside, but then I heard screams and I ran away as fast as I could. The next day, I waited for Greg at school so I could ask him what was going on, but he didn't come. Now I was starting to get worried, so on my way back home, I sneaked into the haunted house through the back door and switched on the lights. But as soon as I did, I heard that same loud scream again. Gosh, this was really scary, but I had to find Greg. I walked upstairs and saw a woman sitting on the floor in one of the rooms. And as soon as she saw me, she started screaming.
Don't hurt me, please. Go away from here. Leave me alone.
I was really confused, but I could tell the woman needed help, so I calmed her down. But just then I heard Greg's voice from behind me.
What are you doing in here, and how did you get in? Get away from my mom.
Your mom? He lifted the woman up from the floor and made her sit on a broken chair. Are you crazy? If she's your mom, then why have you kept her here, like this? He didn't answer my question and kept insisting on me leaving the house. He looked really mad, and I had to leave. But this felt really wrong. Why was he hiding her in there? Later that night, I was in bed when I heard a loud thud, and I was shocked to see Greg standing at the window. Greg, What are you doing here?" But he didn't say anything and just hugged me tight.
I'm sorry for being rude to you earlier, Eurus. I shouldn't have talked to you that way.
He then told me how his mom was diagnosed with some mental condition a few years back. His jerk dad ran away with all the money and left Greg and his mom by themselves, and ever since then, they'd been moving from place to place. But your mom needs medical help, Greg. You should at least inform your relatives or social services about it.
They're all bad, Eurus. They just don't care, and they'll separate me from my mom. I don't want that.
I promised I was going to help him with the situation, and he happily went back. But just then, my room's door flew open, and Ivan barged in.
I heard everything you and your boyfriend were talking about. I've been hearing these screams, and I thought I was going crazy. But now, I can get rid of my headache for good.
What do you mean?
I'm gonna call the mental hospital and have that crazy cuckoo taken away.
But why would you do that?
Just 'cause I can. And I will.
You're a piece of garbage, Ivan. I tried to stop him, but the very next day when I returned from school, I saw ambulances were leaving from outside the haunted house. And minutes later, Greg came running into our house.
You informed them, didn't you, Eurus? They took my mom away before I could even see her after school. No, silly. I'm the one who did it. Why does no one give credit to me for what I do?
Before Ivan could say more, Greg jumped onto him and they broke into a huge fight. I tried hard to separate them, but they didn't stop until Greg's mom came out.
Stop it, Greg.
Stop it, Ivan. Greg looked really confused, and even Ivan lost his mind.
What the minions? Is she really a ghost? What's she doing here?
I brought her here. This morning, after you both left for school, I told Mom everything and brought your mom to stay with us until things were sorted. Greg ran and hugged his mom really tight.
No. Are you kidding me? She's a psycho. She belongs in an asylum.
Stop it, Ivan. I think you're the one who needs treatment.
Shut up, you little...
That's enough, Ivan. I didn't raise you and your sister to be so different. But while she's so nice and kind, you're always looking for ways to hurt people.
That's because you always hurt me. You've always liked her more and never cared about me. And treated me like I'm a good-for-nothing.
But that's your own fault. Even though Eurus is younger than you, she's always understood me and helped me, while you just added to my troubles. And I know you're failing again this year. Enough's enough. I'm sending you away to your aunt's place in the countryside.
What?
Mom, no! Ivan ran after Mom, and Greg turned to me and held my hand.
I'm really sorry for doubting you, Eurus. I'll never be able to thank you enough for your kindness.
Well, you can actually. I'm going to be competing for the National Chess Championship, and I'd love to defeat you at the finals.
You sure you won't be distracted by my looks?
You...
Come here.